Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Ask the Expert. I'm Kayla McGowan, editor-in-chief, and today I'm joined by somebody I've known for quite some time, Jeff Jones with Violand Management, and we are tackling the Technician Award and talking about what it means to Violand and what it means to our industry. So what I wanted to do is just give you a brief overview. The Technician Award highlights and celebrates a key piece of our industry, technicians. We are honored to provide our industry professionals with the visibility and recognition they deserve for their hard work that they do day in and day out. Nominations are open from August 1st through August 31st this year. This year, as I mentioned, Violand Management Associates is sponsoring the Technician Award. The awardee will win a trip, essentially, to Violand Business Planning Retreat November 13th through 15th in Charlotte Harbor, Florida. The winning technicians company will receive up to 2 free seats at the retreat. They will get a customized and comprehensive strategic plan for 2026 and beyond, guidance provided by Violand's business coaches, and peer-to-peer networking opportunities. So please welcome Jeff Jones.
Well, thanks, Kayla, and I appreciate you having us on and letting us be part of this great initiative that R&R Magazine puts on.
We are so fortunate to have a great partnership with you and the entire team over there at VMA. We're very thankful that we have the opportunity to award the Technician Award at your retreat, but also to have you sponsor it because, well, let's face it, technicians are the heart of the business, and you guys work all year long with your companies and help them flourish at all levels of the business, including the technician. So I think it's a great stage to, one, allow our industry professionals who may not have had the opportunity to attend the business planning retreat and meet their peers, and look what they have in their future down the road, what they could have later down the road when they open their own business or they become operations or what have you. So I think it's really cool. I personally have never been. I've heard such great things. So whoever wins, it'll be our first time and we'll have a great time. I can't wait for that. So with all that being said, what does this award mean to VMA to sponsor this award, and how does it align with your company's mission and values?
Yeah, I appreciate that question, and absolutely, we're thrilled, Kayla, for you to come down to Florida for our planning retreat for the first time this year, and for the partnership with R&R Magazine. When we look at working with businesses, and so much effort and emphasis is always put on the owner, but most of the time, the technician is the face of the company. The technician is the one that's getting their hands dirty, that's getting the bloody knuckles. He or she's out on the job site. They're in Mrs. Johnson's house trying to make their world a better place. And we focus so much on the technical training, and it's vital. They've got to understand how to dry it or restore the loss. But the truly magical experiences are the ones that go above and beyond, that show compassion and empathy and just communication and a skill set to make the customer feel like everything's going to be okay. And that's a really special part of our industry to be able to get to do that. And I think the technicians need more recognition for that, because it's can be very difficult. And a lot of times we look at jobs as numbers and profits, and it's not. They're always about people. And so when we look at our mission statement, we're looking at enriching the lives of business owners and their teams. And their teams is such a critical part of that, because it's the team that does most of the heavy lifting, especially in the very successful companies. So if we can do a little bit to provide additional value to the team and help recognize them for a job well done, I think that's much needed and appreciated in the industry.
Yeah, and I'll also say, the technician is usually somebody who's mainly entry level and or coming from a little bit of experience. And so when they are seeing how it's coming from the top down and down to the top, it makes it a bigger picture for them. And I think to your point, technicians drive your reputation, they drive your customer satisfaction. And, what better way than to highlight what they've done for a business, but also reward them, and show them what they could do in the future, but also be part of that planning. I think generally your technicians may not be involved in any type of planning or peer-to-peer networking, like I mentioned before. And this is a great opportunity not only to showcase that we value them, but also that they have stuff to look forward to. And also they can make a difference by taking some of what they gather away and implementing it into their teams. Maybe they're a PM at the technician level, maybe they're a lead technician, and they're able to gain soft and hard skills, not only attending, but being surrounded by the peers there at the retreat. So I know you talked about enriching lives, which that is so true about you guys. I will definitely say you guys do a really great job. So technicians also enrich the lives slash the business, right? And I think it's a really great fit for you guys to not only sponsor, but help take this technician's mindset to another level. So, how do you envision this award impacting the career of the technician and the industry as a whole?
Yeah, obviously technician is sort of the entry level for a lot of the people who are in our industry. And then you start to wonder, this is really difficult work. I mean, nobody grows up and when they're 6 years old, dresses up for Halloween as somebody who's sucking sewer water out of a stranger's basement. It takes a special person to want to do this. And quite honestly, they can make more money in some other trades. If they can go and get HVAC or plumbing and some additional certifications with all of that. So they have to want to do this line of work because they really enjoy people when they need it the most, and they really enjoy what it is that we do. So a lot of them come in and they're not sure this is a career. This is a paycheck right now. And if we're going to send them out on behalf of our company as the face of our company in Mrs. Johnson's living room, it's got to be more than that. And so recognition like this and coaching people up to the level that the people who are going to be nominated and somebody's going to win this, that's what we want to see across the industry. We want everybody striving to achieve that level. A rising tide raises all ships. And so when you remember that your only true competitive advantage you really are going to have are your people. We all use the same equipment. We go to the same training classes. It's the same standards and certifications. It's the people that make the difference. So if we can find people and train people and coach people and guide them and identify the ones that go above and beyond to make a better experience for everybody, it just does more for our industry. And so we want to make certain that they are getting recognition because most of the time they're not getting recognition. They're getting crap under their fingernails. And so let's give them the opposite of that for once.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, they have a love for this industry and their customers. It's a totally different mindset. And as you mentioned, there's other trades out there. They pay more. They require different training, but this industry, for whatever reason, once you start, that's it. You're sucked in, and you grow this love that's just unexplainable. I don't even know how to
Yeah.
describe the type of love that you have, and it really does take some special people that really run the business and carry the business on their shoulders, because sometimes they are the customer service and they are the person who's handling everything and they are the face of the company. So I think it's a great way to show the appreciation that we have for the technicians in our industry. They are the backbone. And I think this is a really great way to do just that.
Yeah.
Um, so, with that being said, what makes the business planning retreat a unique and valuable experience for the winning company and its team? And I think there's several ways you can go here. For me, I think you and I talked about this, is like they may not have that opportunity or had it prior to winning this. But what is it beyond that that maybe is very unique and valuable for our companies out there?
Yeah, most companies in our industry right now are understaffed. They're extremely busy. They're chasing money. Cash flow is tight. And when that happens, you're getting dragged down into the weeds day to day, and you're reacting to the problems that happened yesterday. And we don't have the opportunity to work on strategic initiatives that are designed to move the company, to move the team, to move the leader forward. And so you turn it into a groundhog day of disaster within your own company. And so our strategic planning retreats or business planning retreats are really designed to pick you up and take you away from that. Look, just give us 3 days. That's all we're asking is give us 3 days, put you in a room, and let's talk through what 2026, 2027, and beyond are supposed to look like. And it starts up at the top. We talked about our mission statement. Well, there is a use for mission statements and vision statements. They are guiding tools and they are ways to help answer big picture questions. And then into the core values that help us attract the right type of employees into the long-term goals and then the one-year objectives and the short-term strategies that help us define and achieve where it is and where we're going. And that's the type of stuff that attracts great employees. They want to see growth. And if we can put plans together that involve all of that and say, well, a lot of people are going to say, well, I want to grow 15% next year. Well, okay. Well, a lot of people are going to ask you how. And you got to define that. More importantly, I'm going to ask you why. What happens at 15% growth? Is that the right number? And what is it that we're really trying to achieve? And do we have direction with this? When you took over this business, you took over the responsibility of driving these things forward, not managing off of your gut, but managing off of data and analytics and insight. And so that's what we want people to have. So we bring you down there. We spend 3 days with you. There's a lot of networking that goes on. I don't know. We had 70 companies at the first retreat last year, and I think we had 55 or more at the second one. And they're all from the industry, they're from North America. They're fighting the same battles. They're achieving the same successes. Let's talk that through. So you're going to build out your own customized plan, but at the same time, you're going to network with a lot of like-minded, forward-thinking professionals that just all want to get better and are willing to share. And it's a really unique atmosphere. You're in a beautiful resort just north of Fort Myers, right on the water. Great opportunity to work hard, play hard, and then come back to the business with a real plan of what next year is going to look like and what everybody's role and responsibility is in making that happen.
Yeah, and I think it's really important. You touch on quite a few important things there, right? 15% growth, is that attainable? Is that realistic? Those are the questions that you're able to ask. And
Mhm.
is that best for your business? Because let's say you do grow 15% in the next year. What's your goal the following year? Is it that? Is 15% going to be enough? I mean, expectations need to be set, but I also think that a lot of times when people think about numbers. They're not thinking about the short-term successes. And you guys do a really great job at really getting down into the weeds. And I think that people oftentimes, if they're planning outside of a retreat like this, they plan for the year and they don't really think about sometimes having to pivot. And what would that be? Is pivoting a bad thing? Not necessarily, right? I think we've seen a ton of pivots in the last couple of years in particular, and none of them are bad. I just think that to see success, there are pivots involved, but the strategic plan is there to help you have those milestones, those checks, those checkpoints and all of that. But also, it's okay to change. And that's what you guys are great for. If they do have questions, then they need to change, right? This
Yeah.
is a bigger picture partnership and opportunity. And I think that's really great for anybody, not just whoever wins, but I think anybody, because like you said, like-minded people, yeah, you may see them at trade shows, but this is such a different environment that you're able to actually talk about your strengths, your weaknesses, what you're struggling with, and it really takes your business to the next level. And not only that, for a technician or maybe a company who's never attended before, it also opens your eyes at maybe things that you could have been missing in the past. So I think it's a really great opportunity, regardless of if you've been there or not. And for the winning technician and their business, it's huge because it affects everybody, whether they're able to attend or not. You're able to take those things back and implement them into your business and your teams immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of fun. And if you can bring the technician down with you to get recognized, but we want them involved in the planning process because they're the ones that are on the job sites. They're the ones who might have a couple things that, hey, if we did this a little bit differently, that you just might not think about because maybe you're not doing that on the day-to-day level that they are. So we want you to get everybody involved in the planning and the process. And then when you get down there, have somebody, an outsider, have a business coach or an expert help guide you through that and say, "Oh, have you thought about this? Or what about going in this direction? Okay, you want to grow light and commercial. Well, so does everybody else. So if you're going to do that, what is your marketing plan to stand out and be different than your competitors that are out there? How's this going to affect operations, HR? How are we going to pay for it? What are the benchmarks here? What are the KPIs that we're going to do? Let's take a look at cash flow and be able to provide additional insight over all of it to see what makes the most sense for you and your business.
Yeah, I was going to say you touched on several different layers within that strategic plan, right? And I
Yeah.
think if you don't have the opportunity now, this is a great opportunity to show you maybe you should implement a business coach, or maybe you should. I know a lot of people who don't necessarily have an HR department, right? Like they have HR, but
Yeah.
they may not have a department. And sometimes you need to have a department. Maybe you've been operating with one person in HR and you've outgrown that, right? And now it's time to implement that. You mentioned commercial. It also depends where you are in the world, right? In the United States, you may not even really have commercial work in your town. You may have to go somewhere else that's actually flourishing with commercial work too. And I think, yeah, you may want to get into it, but does it make sense for your business, right? You talked about cash flow and KPIs and all that. Everything needs to be measurable and make sense for your business in particular. And I think this is a great opportunity for the winning business, but also the technician, like you said, to get them involved. They know the pain points in the field. They know where the gaps are, whether it's equipment or maybe people on the job or whatever the case may be. It's a great opportunity to let them collaborate on a different level than they would on a regular day to day in the office, you know?
In conversations that just don't happen around the workplace because everybody's busy. And so if we can pull you away from that and put you in a different environment with different expectations, then we can have these real conversations that just don't happen anywhere else.
Well, and then they have to happen, right? I think we all know when we're in our day-to-day work, it's like, oh yeah, I'll get to that. I'll talk to them later. And then later is months later, it never happens. Well, here's an opportunity to do that for 3 days straight with not only the team at Viola Management Associates, but your peers, right? Your peers that are feeling the same pain points and all of that. But I really want to take a second to thank you for joining me today and letting us, talk about this award and what it means to you guys and what it means to the industry, right? We know that we're oftentimes in a very thankless industry, just because of what goes on with our customers in their day-to-day lives. We're seeing them at not obviously some of the best days of their life. So I just want to take a second to thank you and all that you guys do for our industry. And we cannot wait for the technician to be awarded at the retreat in the fall. And what better way than to be close to the water, right?
That's it. Beautiful resort, beautiful place to be, plenty to do. Bring the family down with you. We've set up events so that it's family friendly. It's really about just getting a group of people together and open up conversations.
Well, thank you as always, Jeff. And for all of you listening, thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next episode of Ask the Expert.
Thanks,
Take care.
everyone.